Welcome back again. We're here once again, another wonderful Tuesday. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's happy and healthy. We are back with another Crafting Tuesday, and we are going to take this Tuesday to continue our little uh, Rolife Super Creator journey. So, those of you who have tuned in the past couple times that we've worked on this series, we have built two different little Rolife Super Creator kits. We've built the Golden Wheat Bakery and the Fascinating Bookstore, and have even combined them together to start our little neighborhood. We have our two kits put together. A little bit hard to see at this angle, but we have our bakery on the bottom with our bookstore on top, like so. And as a slight new addition, we've introduced a second view. So for some things, it might be a little bit easier to see from a different angle. And so we have a second camera view, especially for things that we're trying to see from the side or things that might be a little bit taller. But just to kind of remind everyone of the two kits that we've already built on stream and what we are adding to today. Both a lot of fun, really nice kits to build. Had a blast with them, and I'm really excited to see where we continue today. So that said, let's talk about what we're actually going to be working on tonight, which is the Double Joy Bubble Tea shop. This one was actually picked up by my girlfriend. I happened to with a lot of the kits that I had purchased, I happen to have a little bit of extra rewards to use to spend, as well as a couple of discounts. And I was in the I was in the chance to be able to get another kit, and this was the one that was ultimately decided on. It is one that I'm also pretty excited for. I think it'll be a bunch of fun. This one is similar to the bakery in the fact that it doesn't have multiple light sources, it only has one, unless you count the overhead light. This one, I believe, the only light source is going to be this little menu back here, but the rest of it, there isn't anything else that's lit. But it does have a lot of nice little details that I think will be really fun and really nice for us to check out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take this up, or let's go ahead and open this up and see what we got. Okay, we got our light box as well as our overhead light for whenever we get the roof, as usual. What appears to be the actual, what appears to be possibly an ice cream machine. We have more of the furniture, appears to be some drawers. These appear to be the counters. Yet another pair of the tweezers that I'll have to add to my collection. Appears to be more of the counters as well as the lights themselves. Any stickers and printed paper pieces for us to apply. We have our standoff piece for adding a roof, as well as the connector pieces, which I have a small collection of I'll be adding to. Appears to be like our cups and our smaller appliances, as well as our bases and our walls. A couple more printed pieces, our USB-C cable, and of course the instructions. So let me go ahead and take a quick moment. What I'd like to go ahead and do is just get a little organized, but I think we're ready. Okay. So we've got our pieces over here to the side. I've got some of the printed pieces off to the left, like I like to keep them. We have our beverage of choice, which tonight is just some black coffee. Judge me all you want. This is actually a holiday blend called Cafe Noel from a local roastery here. And, you know, sometimes in the harshest of summers, you just need a little bit of a reminder of what's waiting for you in half a year. But I digress. Let's look at the Super Creator Kit, the Double Joy Bubble Tea Kit. So, interestingly enough, this is going to start very similar to the way that the bookstore started, which is we are starting off with building the actual base, the floor and the walls. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. Interestingly enough, it looks like we might also be putting the lights up pretty quickly too, which I'm completely okay with. I like to use, they want us to use a single adhesive dot on the bottom base plate. Personally, I like to use this permanent adhesive tape. It a little bit stronger of a bond and also more coverage. But obviously the single adhesive dot works perfectly fine. And I think a lot of the kit is designed in a way that you don't necessarily want it to be super secure and super permanent. Because there is a little bit of a system where you might have to actually take pieces out. For example, if you expand it, the wall pieces need to be able to come out, or not the wall pieces, but the paper pieces that cover the walls need to be able to come out, so that way you can add extra lighting and stuff to them later. But from what I've seen, the floor pieces don't really ever come out, so to speak. So because of that, I like to cover the base plate, make sure it is nice and secure for us. Excellent. We'll go ahead and add the walls. Perfect. Scoot that back a little bit too so you guys can see better. Go ahead and get out the wall pieces. I'm also going to go ahead and get out the rest of this. I like to go ahead and once we open up the paper, or once we open up this package that contains the paper and the stickers, I like to go ahead and get them all out at once, mostly because this packaging likes to kind of fold back on itself, and if you have to try and reopen it later, it's just honestly kind of a little bit of a pain. So it's nice to just go ahead and get everything out and have it ready and accessible. We have our adhesive strips and adhesive dots, like always. And at this point, I think I have like a whole little collection of them. So some more stickers, adhesive strips. We'll probably need stickers. We'll move over here. Perfect. Okay. So we need our interior walls, which are this one and this one. these two. Okay. Okay, this is going to be the one that goes on the north wall because these are the cutouts for the lights that are about to go there. So let's go ahead and slot in. One thing I will give them props for is I do appreciate the fact that uh, they perforate the bags. Makes it a lot easier to open. You don't have to worry about getting scissors out. And frankly, I had somebody I was talking to somebody about these kits recently, and I kind of mentioned how most of these kits, not just from Rolife, but pretty much like any of them from any company, they do a really good job of not requiring you to have any kind of tools or anything with you. And obviously, I've got tweezers and I've got glue. But if you came into these kits with literally no tools whatsoever and you just had the kit by itself, they do a really great job of providing you with everything that you're going to need. And Rolife does a good job of that by doing simple little things like perforating their bags, just so that way hey, you don't have to worry about getting out a pair of scissors to open these bags or having to tear them and praying to God that the pieces don't go everywhere. So honestly, props to them for that little feature. So we're gonna go ahead and put that here. Go ahead and secure that. Neat. We can actually, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this around a little bit and actually get a little bit of a better view of the sign itself off to the side now. This was part of the reason I wanted to get like a side view. So for some things like this where it's hard to see, I can just turn the model and you guys can see it without having to tilt the whole thing. So yeah, we have a couple of little signs right here. One's just like a little $6 iced tea, and then it's just some advertisement for the products. But this is the light for this kit. So now we add the outer walls. This is going to be the wall that goes on the same side as the light, because this is the cutout for the box. Okay, and speaking of light, I'm going to go ahead and get the box out. We'll leave the lamp over there because we won't need it for a long while. Not until I either get another kit or until I get a roof piece for this one. Okay. Need to move. Scoot these wires a little bit so that way. Actually, let me go ahead and do this really quick. Go ahead and lift those wires up. There we go. It's probably the most secure I've gotten one of those boxes in a hot minute. However, I think it might be easier for us to do it like that. Yeah, that's better. Okay, cool. Got the box in place. It's nice and secure. Perfect. And then what we have to do next is just add the other wall piece, which I won't change the camera for this one, but I will go ahead and just show off super quickly how little door and little window to the shop. We'll go ahead and slide that in there. And then this piece I have a couple of, because this is the piece that you would remove if you're going to put a roof on it or if you're going to put another kit on top of it. But for now, since we don't have plans to do that just yet, we'll just go ahead and put it on. Go ahead and slip the tabs from the side pieces under here too. That helps keep them in place. Perfect. Cool. So we have our little wall pieces, boards in place, got our lights already there. So we have ourselves a nice little starting place to go ahead and start the interior. Excellent. Go ahead and scoop the cutting board back a little bit. guess add a little switch to the faucet. There we go. Figuring enough. They don't have. They don't really have guides for us to put this on here. They want us to use adhesive dots. This is a case where I'm probably going to super glue it. There we go. Honestly, since I got that alignment pretty well done, I'm gonna not touch it. I'm not gonna mess with it too much. Just gonna let it sit there and let it dry for a second. In the meantime, I think they want us to go ahead and start working on some of the appliances in the cups. Since we're going to be doing a little bit more detail work, what I'll go ahead and do zoom in just a little bit. There we go. Have ourselves a little blender. Adorable. Okay, we have a couple more pieces that we're going to be working on here in a second, but we do have a super quick 90-second break coming up. Oops. Just as I drop some pieces, so take this moment to stand up and stretch, maybe get a refill on our drinks, and for me, it's definitely going to be to enjoy some more of this coffee. So I'll see you guys here in about 90 seconds. Welcome back. So we have a part that's a little reminiscent of the bookstore in the fact that they have us working on a bunch of stickers again. So basically, we are going to be taking these little cups and we're going to be adding the labels to them. So let's get cracking, why don't we? Yep, it's not too hard, pretty easy. They do cut those stickers out in a way that makes it a little bit easier to makes it a little bit easier. Here we go. Give you guys a nice close-up view during this very intricate part. That's two. I love that once you've done like 2 or 3 of these, you kind of get the hang of it. And not only can you do it relatively easily, you can also do it relatively well. It's kind of like with the books. Like the first couple books that I did during the bookstore kit came up pretty terribly, but by the time I got to like half of them, you pretty much just get like a groove going. And that's nothing against Rolife or anything or like how their kits are made. It's just sometimes I'm just terrible at putting stickers on. Cool. We have our 7 little cups. Except now what they want us to do is actually want us to take 3 of them. And we're going to stack them and make little stacks of cups like that. Cool. Then we're going to also take 1, I believe. If I can actually open the bag, hang on. We actually have a little lid that goes on one of them, as well as a tiny straw. Adorable. So I think that's all of the small cups that we're working on. Wow. That's probably some of the cleanest sticker placement I've done in a hot minute. Got ourselves a little milk carton. I love the little cow design on it. That's so cute. Okay, we got that. And we have what appears to be a little drink dispenser. Oh, this is new. So instead of stickers, these are transparent decals. Fascinating. I wonder if I'm trying to think here. Do I care enough about the extra square to cut it off or not? I'm gonna say no. I think honestly it's fine. I lied. I do care enough. absolutely optional, but the decal. Oh, wait a minute. No. See, this is what I get for not reading ahead. The decal is actually on the back of that. And so when I lift this up, the little Rolife decal should stay behind. Wow. Props to them for that. I did not expect it. Uh, wow. That's the first time I've seen them do that in any of these kits, but honestly, that's really impressive. And I think they give you a third one just in case you completely whiff it and do one incorrectly, but that's really impressive. I have never seen them do something like that in one of these kits, where they give you not only a transparent decal, but it's like a transfer decal. That's really impressive. So I should just be able to. Yep. Wow. Let me put the book inside. Oh, line those holes. Of course. So these little bucket pieces, to kind of explain what I'm doing really quick, these little bucket pieces actually have holes in them as well. So when you put them inside the silver pieces, you have to line up those holes. And so that way, whenever you put the spigot or the little faucet on there like that, uh, it goes through both of those pieces together, which clever little design, and I like that a lot. But put that on there, and then I believe this is just a handle. But what I was doing was I took my tweezers, and I'll show you with this one if I'm able to. Let me hop back over here. Zoom in even more, zoom up. Perfect, cool. So, hole in the bucket, hole on the inner side, kind of hard to see. So what you need to do is you need to line them up when you put them in. And then to make sure I've lined them up, I take my tweezers and I slide them through, and you can see my tweezers have gone all the way through, meaning that those are lined up. And I should be able to put the faucet without much issue. Just like that. Clever little trick. Then we can put our lid on, put our little handle, and we have two of our little drink containers. Adorable. I still cannot get over the little like transfer decal situation that they have, and the cool thing about it too is that's actually not the only transfer decal from that little thing. We also have this little one that has something with like a strawberry on it. So we have something else that we're going to be putting that decal on. little drink container. This is just a shaker. Cute. I think we're done with all the accessories. Now the thing is there is an extra straw. I don't know if this is an actual extra piece or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in my little extra parts bin right here. If it turns out that we need it later, I can always get it out, but now we can take our little counter, now that the piece is nice and secure with glue. We can go ahead and start adding things. This one, they do want us to go ahead and just use the adhesive dots. I'm just going to go ahead and use the adhesive dots because why not? I think here, for these little like things like this, adhesive dots are completely fine. Okay. So let's see where they want us to add things. They want us to put... Well, I say that. The adhesive dots on like things like this blender, because the bottom of the blender is textured like that and does have like a little indentation, I'm not sure if these adhesive dots are going to want to stick super well. So we'll give it a shot. If it doesn't like to stick well, then we'll use super glue. Now we'll clarify for those of you who are curious about the super glue. The super glue that I'm using is a special like store brand super glue from a local hobby store that I go to. It's actually a hobby store that I bought a couple of these kits from. And it's specifically a... Yeah, that's not even sticking because of the indent. It's specifically a, not like a super quick setting super glue. It takes about 30 seconds. But it is a super thick super glue. So it doesn't just come out like super thin and like very watery. It's actually relatively thick. And as a result, for... She understands my spire. I figured she would. Honestly, Slay the Spire is it's just an enjoyable game in general. Like, whether or not you like card games. Thanks for that. Take another swig of my black coffee. I used to not be the world's biggest fan of black coffee, but I've honestly come to enjoy it lately. But yeah, Slay the Spire 2. Phenomenal game. Even if you're not really into like rogue card battler games, it's definitely a game I think everyone should give a shot at least once. And it's one of those games that either you'll play for like a day and then be done with it, or it's a game that like you'll play non-stop for a while. I'm just gonna let that sit there. Okay. They want us to put 1 cup here. The real question, though, is when are we going to get together and play Big Walk? I do have at least a couple of friend groups who are wanting to play it, which is part of the reason I did get it today. But also just like the idea of it just being like this cozy creative, like, or not even creative, just this cozy little like adventure game for you to just spend time and hang out with your friends and complete challenges and go on this adventure together is just so fun to me, and I am very much looking forward to it. It's absolutely something that like of many of the games that I've played on stream, it's definitely one that I think will also be a solid contender for games for me to stream. Okay, what about these? Do these have a solid bottom? Sort of. Man, these little beverage containers are the same way uh as the blender, where like they want you to use the little adhesive dot, but like because of the feet on the bottom of that beverage container, it doesn't really have like a good place for it to stick well. So super glue it is. I'm also trying to be like very, very conservative with the amount of super glue I put on these things. Mostly just because it does not take a lot. Cool. So now things like this little shaker here, those should be completely fine to uh, those should be completely fine to put an adhesive dot under because they should have a flat bottom. Yeah, they do. So actually, as a matter of fact, it's actually smaller. It's actually smaller than the adhesive dot, which is also fine, really, but okay. We have the pitcher. Also has a flat bottom, thank goodness. So, cool. So I think that's everything they wanted us to put on here. Yep, that looks like everything. So we'll just kind of scoot that back, let it do its thing. We have still some more of these cups and stuff they want us to do something with eventually, but I'm going to leave those off to the side until we need them. Cool. This is the ice cream part. Adorable. No, it does not want to go in. There it goes. Cool. Here we go. Okay. We also have a quick break coming up here in a second, so I'm going to go ahead and stop after these next two stickers. Okay. Last one is K8. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys here in 90 seconds. All right, welcome back. So yeah, we added a couple of little stickers to our ice cream machine, uh, like a little half off one, little advertisement, little like an LCD display, and like a little warranty slash information sticker. Now we are adding a little cup of ice cream. I love listening to like lo-fi remixes of songs and not knowing what song's going to be next. But then you hear the melody to the song, and then it kind of hits you like a sleep activation phrase or sleep agent activation phrase, and you're just like, "Oh, this is double lariat." Cute. Okay, set you aside. I'm kind of surprised they haven't really had us doing any of like the bigger or like actually putting anything out yet on the thing, but I guess to be fair, we're still in the process of building everything, so this was kit number 6, right? 62. Was it 61? This is 72. Ah, that's why. It does say it's from 7. These are the pieces that go on the bottom of the kit. I will say I don't think we have much time left, or much left, because honestly, uh, we we're out of bags. This is our last bag of stuff. So once we're done with this, we're done for good. So at this point, really, I think it's just getting the last couple pieces assembled, and then that's it. So honestly, this might be one of our quicker kits, which isn't a problem. It's been really enjoyable so far. Hmm. Oh, I see. There's like a little divot there. There we go. They're really giving me a hard time with these doors. There we go. Gotcha. Cool. Wonder if they actually mean for us to use these many like drawer pulls, or if they just were like, you know what, we know you're gonna break like three of these, so we're just gonna give you like 10, and you only need six. They do that with a couple of different pieces. They'll just include like an extra here or there. Like I said a second ago, there was like the straw that goes inside the cup. They included two of those, but as far as I can tell, you've only ever needed one. uh, okay. So they want us to apply. Oh, I see. Yeah, for now I'm gonna go ahead and put these extras in here. If I need to get them out later, I can, but I think these are all extras. Because I'm doing this from an angle, I'll go ahead and do this really quick. So you can see the little decals I'm putting on the sides here. Now this, I'm gonna go ahead and turn back to overhead for a second. This, I think, is a very fascinating little thing they want us to do. So they have us using another one of those little decals, like the transfer decals, except this time they're having us put it on a piece of plastic because I think the idea is once I peel this off, it looks like an acrylic sign now. This is actually super cool to me. That's really neat. Okay. This next part, I can already tell, is going to be a slight pain in the butt because this is the machine that they use to like seal the cups. And this has a lot of like little hands-on details that are going to be very, very, very interesting to put together. So what we'll go ahead and do, go ahead and zoom in a little bit here too, since this will be a little bit more of a hands-on project. We have the little door that goes on the back. There we go. Okay. Interesting. Okay. This is like I said, one of those things that like I knew it was already going to be a kind of a pain in the butt. So how they want us to do this is they want us to take this sticker and we're going to fold it and crease it before we take it off. Because the idea is we're then going to sort of fold it on itself to create like a little ribbon. But they want us to fold it before we take it off to help us have like a crease line to work with. Second. It's gonna suck for a moment. Okay. That was a little concerning at first, but we got it. So yeah, so you have basically like the little strip of uh seals that go on the cups whenever they like heat seal the cups. So now what we have to do They're really not making this easy on us, are they? Okay, but I think I get how they want us to do this. It's just, my God, are they really stretching the limitations of their trust in me to be able to do this right? I'm actually going to do this really quick. Oh, wait, no, I see now. Okay, cool. So it took a minute, but to kind of explain what they basically had us do, they had us take this long sticker and fold it into like a sort of ribbon. And you had to put it on this little reel first. After putting it on that reel, you pass it underneath that and then through the whole machine. Then put it on another reel, put that reel in here, and then basically sort of tighten them both. So that way you have like what looks like a little continuous tape of the seals that they put on top of bubble tea cups. That is, like I said, they had a little too much faith in me on like being able to do that, but at the end of the day, we managed to do it. And honestly, that is actually a really cool little effect. Now, okay, I see now. Cool. Up in there. That's one. All right. Those of you who aren't seeing the break, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Sorry about that. I'm usually a little bit better about timing those ads, but however, the only thing that we did in the meantime was we put this little sign on the top of the cup sealing machine. So we have our complete little machine. So now we are putting together a little cash register. And we have to put the screen on the cash register. Yep. Got ourselves a little cash register, receipt and everything. Turns out I actually also a missed a sticker we were supposed to put on the machine. It's just a little information sticker on the side that we missed, but that's okay. I'm gonna double check that we haven't missed anything else sticker-wise. I don't think so. Okay. M2. This is S2. M2. Okay, so this is the plain paper that we need to fold now, which we haven't had to do until now. There. Let's zoom out a little bit more. This is the first time this entire project I've actually needed us to use the the adhesive strips instead of the dots, which I find a little funny. Got ourselves a little shopping bag. How cute. Kind of fold it a little bit more along these lines to add a little bit of like depth to it. But I think that's fine for now. Okay. So now we're actually going to assemble the counter, which is nice. So, first things first, we do have our machine. However, we're running into the same problem with the machine that we did with a couple of the other machines where it doesn't really. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. The machine doesn't really have like the sealing machine doesn't really have like a good place in the bottom for us to put the adhesive dots. Like we could put it on each of the four legs, but they're so small that it just, to me, it makes just more sense to just go ahead and just super glue the four little legs together or onto the table. Plus, with it being as big and intricate as it is, I would rather super glue it and it be secure than anything. Especially knowing me and knowing how clumsy I can be, it wouldn't surprise me if I just like uh, completely like knock this over one day. And I would like for it if like the pieces don't just go flying everywhere. Now we've got you go here, you go here, and you go here. This can adhesive dot. This cannot. Cool. So I think, with that said, we're almost done, except for the final placement of things, which, before we do the, well, I'm going to wait until we do that first. Okay. We have the sort of final placement of things. So first things first, this is not going to sit with adhesive dots. So we're going to have to sit with this. This just goes in the corner. Hmm. Sorry about that. I will admit that one was a little unintentional because uh, my mouse was literally hovering over one of the buttons, and when I moved this pamphlet over, it clicked the button to start an ad. My apologies for that. I did go ahead and snooze the next one for a little while since we did go ahead and do one a little early. But all we did was basically just glue this ice cream machine in place, which I'm a little precarious about because it has rolling wheels on it already. But I think we've got it secure enough. Okay. And then for the counter, I think if I were to line this up, I could probably line it up right about there. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. And this is a flat base. It does, which means I could probably just get away with doing this. That should keep it plenty secure. Okay, yeah. The rest of it's pretty much what I think it's about. But that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. So let me do a little bit of cleaning up really quick, so that way you guys don't just see a bunch of junk everywhere. And then we'll take a final look at our finished product. Either, either. There. Okay. All right, let me hop on over to our other view. And here we are. We have our finished bubble tea shop. Break out the Hefty Susan. Actually, you know what? That would actually be a really good use for it. So let's break out the Hefty Susan. I 3D printed a Lazy Susan, or in this case, it's just a rotating base, for a couple of different reasons. But honestly, why not? Allow us to get a nice round view of it with our side view camera. Get a nice look at all these little details. We have like the back. This is like the adjacent wall if you were to put it up against something. And then, yeah. Honestly, what a super fun little kit. It took us a little bit less time, but I think honestly the hardest parts of it were like the little like sealing machine and just a couple of other little minor details, but overall not bad. Now, for the really fun part, we got to see if this thing looks lit up. Let me grab this. There we go. And obviously it's going to bleed out like crazy because, you know, camera effects and whatnot. But, yeah. I'll take some pictures. I might do also like a little short video on it that will kind of showcase that light a little bit better. But yeah, so that's the lighting effect here. It's not obviously as bright in real life. It's just unfortunately, the camera effect, and I can't really focus this camera too well to do that. But I might actually be able to do desk cam. Let me rotate it this way, and then let me tilt it up a little bit. So still kind of bleeds out a little bit, but not nearly as bad. Um, but yeah, I'll take some pictures. Something I've considered doing recently is in terms of like social media. Really, I don't do a lot of social media. Most of my content is either my live streams on Twitch, or I do have my long form VODs and shorts on YouTube. And then I do also have my other shorts on uh, TikTok. But something I've considered doing semi recently is I do technically have a Blue Sky account for this for my content. Right now, the only thing that I've ever posted on it is stuff about my music, but I might go ahead and start posting other things on there like this. And so, for those of you who want to get like a better look at what the actual kit looks like when it's lit up, maybe in like a slightly better way, you can probably find the pictures there. I've also considered maybe starting an Instagram account, mostly just for pictures and for videos, shorter videos, just to kind of give people other looks at other looks at my projects, just in a new light. But either way, if that is something that I do, just keep an eye out. But otherwise, it's been a fun little project. We will work on adding this to our other two kits at another time. I would like to either get a fourth kit so that way we have a full square, or at the very least get some kind of roof for this. Now, Rolife does have, and I'm going to say this while I put these little end pieces in here because I forgot to put them in here. Rolife does have multiple options for covering the top of these kits. So option one is obviously just to cover the top of a kit with another kit like we did with the bakery. The bookstore is what's on top of it. Option two is they sell a roof piece, which we have seen on top of the bookstore. Option three, though, and this is a newer option, they actually have terraces to where instead of it being like a roof, it's a flat piece that goes on top, but it has its own set of decorations. Like one of them is like a little nice little garden view one. They have one that looks like a little cafe. And the idea is you can use it as a piece for your roof, but in a different way than just having like, you know, a standard pyramid shaped roof. And I think that that would be really cool to have, especially if we were to put this to the side of the bakery, because then we could put the cafe terrace on top, and it would look really neat to have like a bakery or like a little cafe terrace on top of this, like a little place for us to enjoy our bubble tea and our baked goods. I think that would be really cool, but I don't want to add this to that yet until maybe I get that terrace piece or until maybe we get a fourth creator kit. But either way, it's been fun. I don't have another super creator kit in the works just yet. My next Rolife kit, I do have a couple more Rolife kits, but they're not super creator kits. The next kit that we do is either going to be another miniature house series kit, or it's going to be another book nook. The book nook that I do have on standby is one that I've actually built before, but then it was destroyed. So it'll be sort of like a return, but it's never one that I've done content or one that I've done on live stream. And the other two miniature houses are both 5-star difficulty ones that are expected to take upwards of 10 hours to do. So they'll definitely be a multi-part series. So those will probably be on our docket next in terms of Rolife kits, but we do also have a couple of other crafts sort of in the queue that we might take a small break from real life. Maybe next Tuesday we'll do something that's not real life, that's like a one-off before we return, because a lot of the real life kits that I have planned next are going to take at least 2 streams to do. But either way, yeah, once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for spending your Tuesday evenings with us. Thursday, we have a special little stream that we're going to be doing. We're going to be playing a game, and it's one that I've played the demo for. It's something I'm really looking forward to, and I won't say too much about it, but I will say it does kind of very much fit the vibe of the cozy creative workshop that we have going on here. So it'll be something that I hope you guys are looking forward to. But either way, as always, hope you guys have a wonderful night. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. And before we say goodbye for the evening, we are probably going to go raid a friend of mine. She's been out for the past week or so to con, but I think we're going to raid them. Okay, awesome. As always, thank you guys for an awesome stream, and I will see you guys on Thursday.